Season 1 has seen the departures of several big-name players, but then being replaced with some of the most exciting talent across European football. We've had players making demands to secure European football, our goalkeeper has seen several 25-yard screamers fly past him, plus goals of our own left, right and centre, including some incredible last-minute winners. But with some important results going against us as we come to the season finale, we're just 4 points above the relegation zone, with a serious fight on our hands to stay in the division. But as ever, if you are enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's season finale. Now, as you can see, problem number 1 is that -9 goal difference, with only 33 goals scored in the Premier League so far this season. Now, with the arrival of Ben Yedder at 83 rated, having some much needed experience at 32 years of age, and having that something special, I thought he was going to be the answer to all of our attacking problems. But with 7 Premier League games played and no goals and no assists to his name, plus a 6.2 match rating overall, clearly something just isn't quite right. We've tried everything with our starting 11 to make us more attacking, including shifting both of our wingers far higher up the field and instructing our sole striker to make far more attacking runs, getting in behind, trying to stretch the defence. But clearly the stats do not lie, and as you can see, it just has not worked. So I put the question to you, what do I do with Wissam Ben Yedder? And I gave you 3 different options. Do I drop him completely for Evan Ferguson and reinstate him back into our starting 11? Do I persist and continue to try and get the best out of this experienced Frenchman? Or do I change his formation altogether and try and pair the both of them together? But with 53% of your vote, your voice was clear. You want to see the back of Wissam Ben Yedder, and you want to see the return of this man, Evan Ferguson, a man who's gone up by 4 ratings to 73, back into our starting 11, reinstated as our number 1 striker. And so with that in mind, it is out with the old and back in with the young as Evan Ferguson returns to the starting 11. However, with just 10 remaining Premier League games left, I do think my target of 15 goals in the league is going to be a bit of a stretch for a man who's only managed 3 in 20 appearances. However, having beaten Watford 1-0 in the 5th round of the FA Cup and having drawn Spurs at home in the quarter-finals, he's going to have the opportunity to get back to scoring ways. However, as you can see, our trust in Evan Ferguson was not reflected in his performance. A 4-2 defeat at home to Spurs sees us crash out of the FA Cup and dash any hopes of silverware this season. And after Manchester City inflict our 2nd defeat of the episode, beating us 2-0 away from home, it leaves us in 17th place in the Premier League with just 9 games remaining, now level on points with Southampton in the last place in the relegation zone. But with a game in hand and a 14th place Leeds up next at the Amex Stadium, once again we are not taking any chances and we are getting stuck into our very first game of this episode in a desperate attempt to get some momentum back on our side and some much needed 3 points. Stupinian into Evan Ferguson, who's dropped deep and he's looking for the on-running Mitoma, who finds a beautiful ball into a Stupinian. Has he managed to stay on side? Yes, he has. It's a poor ball. Oh, lovely play right into the path of Sinistera, who's got acres of space to run into here, and he's got the beating of Webster with pace. But Bruggen with a huge save. It comes back out to Harrison, and what a goal. He fired it right back into Sinistera, and within the 6-yard box, that man made absolutely no mistake. And within 10 minutes, he fires Leeds United into a 1-0 lead. Adams to Harrison. It's all Leeds so far, and that's a beautiful ball into Sinistera, who goes for the power shot. And within the space of 22 minutes, Leeds find themselves 2-0 up. Well, we are just lurching from one disaster to another, and he's just given too much time and space on the edge of our box. It's an expertly applied finish from the young man. It's his 2nd goal of the game. The goalkeeper cannot believe it. I can't believe it. Somehow, we are 2-0 down. Blas finds Koku. All of my players are inside our own half here. We are so defensive, and I've no idea why, but Mitoma is released down the left-hand side. Looks for a ball over to Koku in the box. It's too high and wide. Sinistera to go again for Leeds, and that's a beautiful ball into Ingvartsen. We just don't have the pace defensively to keep up with this Leeds attack, and they continue to go forward into the box, and Lewis Dunk, fortunately enough, comes to our rescue that time. Webster, he's given the ball away really cheaply, and it's a big save again by the goalkeeper. Jack Harrison to take the resulting corner, whips it in looking for the goal scorer, but it's headed away nicely, and Blas can now release Mitoma, who's in the centre, doesn't have many options though. Can he find a ball to Blas? Yes, he can. He's managed to stay on side, continues his run into the box. Can he get us back in the game? Yes, he can. Beautiful goal. But we've been dominated by Leeds from start to finish in this first half, but just before the break, we managed to strike a counter-attack, and that man Blas, who has actually been sensational since joining us, gets himself on the score sheet again. We're back in the game. Sinistera, that's a beautiful ball all the way over to Jack Harrison with a touch of absolute perfection as he just dinks it back into the box, looking for the head of the striker. Unfortunately enough, Lewis Dunk was there to block. Dunk presses high here, finds Koku. Koku finds Maffeo on the right-hand side. Can he get a decent ball in? Looking for Matoma. Couldn't get his head on it. Will we get the second ball? Yes, we will, but it's cleared away from Leeds. We just can't seem to knock this door down. Well, desperate times here are calling for desperate measures. I've got 15 minutes remaining on the clock to somehow try and find a goal. And so with that in mind, I'm switching to a very attacking formation. Maffeo will make way for Ben Yedder up front. We have to try and find a way to get back into this game. Dahoud, Ferguson, he's got an overlapping run of Blast there. Blast fires a ball over to Ben Yedder, who has just come onto the pitch. And Ben Yedder, is this his moment? Oh, he's completely bottled it yet again. Mark Rocker for Leeds. Brandon Aronson, beautiful ball into Ingvartsen. Lovely twisting and turning, but it's Lewis Dunk with a big challenge. But Mark Rocker wins it back high in our penalty area. Estupinian gets it back though. Just a couple of minutes remaining here as Ben Yedder skips away from the challenge of Christensen on the right. And he has the pace and the freshness and the stamina to continue his run into the box. This time he's going to go for goal. And he's done it again. He's missed a golden opportunity. Fired it straight at the goalkeeper. That was the last opportunity of the game as the referee blew the whistle for full time. Sam Allardyce is clearly delighted. The Brighton players cannot understand what has happened today. That man Sinistera was of course sensational with 2 goals to his name. And unfortunately for us, it's those 2 goals that seal defeat. Full time Brighton 1, Leeds United 2. It's just not working out for the 32-year-old, is it? He had his moments in that game, but he just could not take them. And with us hovering precariously above the relegation zone, is the curtain about to come down on Brighton's time in the Premier League? And it's even more frustrating news as we just can't seem to get a win in this episode. Despite us being 2-1 up, our hearts were broken by Alexander Isak just 5 minutes from time as Newcastle managed to rescue a point in a 2-2 draw. However, in a moment of positivity, moving from one man's struggle in a Brighton shirt to another man's absolute domination. 8 appearances in all competitions, 8 goals and 1 assist. 7 goals in 7 Premier League appearances. A 7.2 average match rating across those appearances. And surely this man is single-handedly holding our season together. However, with goals for the rest of my team still continuing to be a problem, and with Everton up next at the Amex Stadium, and the media continuing to put pressure on me, demanding to know what on earth is going on with this Brighton team and why on earth we can't seem to find the back of the net. And I have decided desperate times call for desperate measures. It is time to do something drastic, and we are shifting from this 4-2-3-1 formation into a far more attacking 3-4-3 formation with Mitoma, Ben Yedder, Evan Ferguson, Patrick Wimmer and Ludovic Blas all starting in my starting 11 in a last-ditch throw of the dice to see if we can get some goals into this Brighton team. It's a bold move, but one that I felt like I had absolutely no choice but to take. Time will tell whether or not it'll be the right one, and as we line up against Everton at the Amex Stadium, we're about to find out whether there's method to my madness. Patrick Wimmer. Acrobatic pass there to Koku, who's going to try and play this out to Ludovic Blas, who's managed to stay on side. Whips it in for Ben Yedder. Couldn't get his head on it. Ludovic Blas, lovely footwork to get away from Mikolenko there. And can he try and fire a ball into Patrick Wimmer? He can. Wimmer turns lovely into Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder, after 11 games in a Brighton shirt, finally manages to find the back of the net, and what a time to do it. Well, it was those incredible attacking players that have combined, and the extra man in the penalty box has clearly showed its benefits as Wissam Ben Yedder finally manages to get that weight off his shoulders and celebrate in front of the Brighton fans for the first time in his Brighton career as we take the lead here at the Amex Stadium. Into Wimmer. We've got our tails up here as Evan Ferguson picks it up now. Tries to lay a ball into Patrick Wimmer. He's managed to stay on side and he continues his run into the box. What a save by the goalkeeper. Well, I do not know how we didn't find the back of the net there, but we've got another opportunity to do so as it's fired into the box. But once again, the goalkeeper gets the better of us. Maffeo. Into Wimmer, who's dropped deep and he's picking up lovely pockets of space here to play balls just like that. And it's Mitoma now into Dahoud, who finds himself in the box. Another big save from the goalkeeper. Mitoma into Ben Yedder, who feels really confident now that he's finally managed to bag a Brighton goal. Nice ball over to Blas on the right-hand side. Going to try and fire it in, looking for Evan Ferguson. Can't find him. Headed away. Koku, though, manages to get there first. Dahoud wins it. We are so attacking at the moment. Mitoma fires another ball in the box. It's blocked off. Mitoma into Evan Ferguson, who's leading the line really well, and he's fed in Ben Yedder beautifully again. Can he cut the ball back? Yes, he can! And he puts it into the back of the net. Patrick Wimmer gets our second much-needed goal of the game. Well, the crowd go absolutely wild, and rightly so. It's another beautiful piece of Brighton play. Evan Ferguson, Ben Yedder, and Patrick Wimmer all combining to lash a strike into the top right-hand corner. And Patrick Wimmer says thank you very much. We say thank you very much. It's 2-0 here at the Amex Stadium. Lewis Dunk finds Dahoud. Dahoud finds Mitoma on the left-hand side, and every single time we attack, we seem to have an extra man here as Evan Ferguson binds Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder in the box, he's just offside. Dahoud into Mitoma. Mitoma finds a ball into Evan Ferguson, turns into Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder strikes, and that is a man full of absolute confidence. He slides on the floor, celebrates wildly, and rightly so. What a goal. What a way to get your second goal in a Brighton shirt. And what a time to do it. It's another layoff from Evan Ferguson, who's led the line fantastically well. And look at that for a strike. Just curled it round the goalkeeper. Gave him no chance. I'm delighted. It's 3-0. Goku into Mitoma. Into Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder finds Evan Ferguson. Evan Ferguson finds Enciso, who's running through here. He strikes. He just puts it wide. It's Onana for Everton. Strikes from distance. They were looking for another 25-yard screamer, but Verbruggen was onto it this time. Amari Gray fires a ball, looking to fire a ball over to Ollie Watkins, but it's well intercepted by Stupinian. Ben Yedder into Evan Ferguson, releases Mitoma down this left-hand side. He's done a beautiful job of doing that all game, and I tried to fire it across into Enciso, just couldn't find him. Into Enciso, turns nicely, finds Evan Ferguson. He also turns nicely and finds Patrick Wimmer. Patrick Wimmer to fire it across the box, good defending. But that is that. The referee blows the whistle, and what a game that was. Well, the Brighton fans fly the flag high. They are delighted with our performance today. The Everton players cannot quite believe what they've seen. That man, what a performance from him. His 2 goals seal the 3 points, as at full time it finishes Brighton 3, Everton 0. We'll talk about a man who grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. Just playing in that little pocket of space on the left-hand side of Evan Ferguson seems to have absolutely lit up his game. After 10 games of not contributing, 2 goals and 1 assist all in one game, has Wissam Ben Yedder's career in a Brighton shirt finally started. And another goal, this time against Arsenal, clearly shows he is ready to come good. But frustratingly, Arsenal bring us crashing back down to reality, having beaten us 3-2 at home. But with us managing to rescue a point away from home against Bournemouth, with just 4 games remaining in the Premier League, we are in serious trouble. Just 2 points clear of Southampton in 18th place. But both them and Crystal Palace have both got games in hand on us. And if they win them, we will end up dropping into the relegation zone. But as luck would have it, our very next game is no doubt the biggest and most important of our entire season, as we welcome our relegation rival Southampton to the Amex Stadium, as we have a glorious opportunity to put some daylight between ourselves and them. Alcaraz into Diallo. Southampton starting off the game very well here. Into Alcaraz, and that was a huge let-off for us then. Koku heads it down into Evan Ferguson, who takes it on and strikes it from distance and gets it all wrong. And look at that, from going from no goals in 10 games to getting 3 in his last 3 matches, Wissam Ben Yedder is now the man to watch. Oh, that's a terrible pass from the goalkeeper straight into the path of Evan Ferguson, who has absolutely buried it past him. And oh my word, we couldn't have been gifted a better goal than that one. Evan Ferguson gets himself on the score sheet. It's an absolute abomination of goalkeeping on display there from Bazunu. And Evan Ferguson has never had an easier goal to score, and what a time to score it. A huge goal, 1-0. Alcaraz, lovely ball into Mavidi. Oh, that's a big miss for Southampton, and he knows it. Feo finds Blas on the right-hand side in acres of space. Tried to find Evan Ferguson, but instead gave the ball away. But Dahoud has managed to pick it back up, and he just blasts past the defender. Wissam Ben Yedder into Evan Ferguson, who strikes big save from the goalkeeper. Koku to take the resulting corner. Whips it in, looking for the head of Ludovic Blas. Couldn't find him, but Patrick Wimmer will pick up the loose ball. Hits it back down to Koku. He's going to whip it back in, looking for Evan Ferguson. Headed again away by the Southampton defence. This time Ben Yedder picks it up. He's twisting, he's turning, trying to get away from the Southampton defenders. Fires a wonderful ball into Koku, who strikes from distance. It's another big save. It's another corner here that Koku will take. Fires it in, looking for Evan Ferguson. Can't get his head on it, Patrick Vimmer will fire it back out wide to Koku, whips it back in, again looks for Evan Ferguson, and once again can't find him. Pascal Gross on as a substitute for the injured Dahoud, picks it up and goes out wide to Ben Yedder, stretches his legs, looking for a ball in, it's blocked off, another corner. Koku again to fire it in, this time looks for the head of Ben Yedder, can't find him. We just cannot seem to find the head of our players this time. Koku looks for Patrick Vimmer. Patrick Vimmer finds Pascal Gross, tries to strike, fired against the defender as the referee blows for half time. Viddy down this left hand side, tries to go one-on-one with Dunk, and he does really nicely, tries to fire a ball across, but Estupinian read that one brilliantly. Estupinian into Gross. Gross finds Mitsoma. Mitsoma into Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder tries to find Patrick Vimmer, who finds Evan Ferguson, who almost found the back of the net. Lovely build-up play for us there, and we've got a corner that I've lost count of the amount of times we've had corners here, and I've lost count of the amount of times we can't seem to find our man. Koku whips it back in, looking for Evan Ferguson. Again, can't find him. Dunk. Out wide to Koku. Koku goes for Ludovic Blas. He's going to cut it back to Koku again. He looks for options. Finds Evan Ferguson. Evan Ferguson lays it off to Gross. He tries to turn. Finds Mitoma, who strikes first time, and it's a big save again. Koku to fire it in yet again and yet again. This time finds Estupinian, and Bazunu to the rescue. It's fired in yet again. This time we get our head on it. And again Bazunu with another mammoth save, atoning for his calamitous error at the beginning of the game. It's Diallo now, only moments remaining in this game. Onuachu into the box, lovely footwork away from Lewis Dunk, and it's a big save by Verbruggen. Alcaraz to take the resulting corner for Southampton, whips it in. It's going to be headed away by Patrick Vimmer. Southampton keep the ball alive though. It's Lyanco now on the edge of the box, looking for space to perhaps try and find Onuachu. He does, who strikes. Verbruggen with a big save with one hand, and my word, he collects. What a relief that was. Lafeu finds Enciso. Enciso's going to try and skip past the challenge of the defender, and he does, just as the referee thankfully blows the whistle for full time. Well, that was a game of two teams who are low on confidence, but one that is absolutely delighted to get a much needed 3 points. The Southampton players fall to their knees on the ground. Look at the celebrations from the Brighton players. They know how important that game was. Full time, it is Brighton 1, Southampton 0. The media have given me enough stick over the course of this season. It's finally time for me to enjoy the limelight of an incredible win. And it is amazing what one win can do. Not only has morale gone through the roof, but my status with the board has shot up to excellence. And just like that, we have shot up to 13th place in the table with just 3 games remaining in the league. And despite Liverpool being able to get a 2-1 win against us, a 1-0 win against a bottom place Brentford with an unlikely goal from Dahoud in the 74th minute is enough for us with just 1 game remaining to finally secure our status in the Premier League for another season. With 2 goals from Patrick Vimmer and Ben Yedder, enough to secure a point on the last day of the season against West Ham. And just a word of thanks on that man Patrick Vimmer, having started every single Premier League game this season and contributing 8 goals and 11 assists in 40 appearances in all competitions. It has been a stellar campaign for the man who's gone up by 4 and is now an 81 overall rating. Ludovic Blas has been absolutely sensational since joining the club in January. He's chipped in with 8 goals and 1 assist in just 6 months at the club. But the man from Japan, Karu Mitsoma, is no doubt our star man. 14 goals in 40 appearances and 2 assists to his name. But with us not being able to qualify for European football this season, we made a promise to him that we would let him depart the club in the summer, which means we could well be searching for a replacement for him as we head into season 2. Unfortunately, Evan Ferguson didn't hit either of my targets at the beginning of the season, only managing to get 4 goals in the Premier League and only managing to get up to a 74 rating overall. But having gone up by plus 5 points and only being 18 years of age, overall you have to say it's been a fairly successful campaign for the young Irishman. And the same can probably be said for Julio Enciso. 4 goals and 4 assists in 31 appearances in all competitions. He hasn't quite hit the 10 assist mark that I did set him, but he has managed to get up to a 72 rating. A plus 6 improvement for the young man, and there will be plenty more to come from both him and Evan Ferguson as we head into season 2. With a 14th place finish in the Premier League in the end, and a huge formation change that has completely changed the structure of the team, it's likely we're going to be looking for some defenders come the summer transfer window, and maybe some even more attacking players to try and bolster the options we have up front. But that is it for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed this series so far. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you have, and hopefully I'll see you again for the start of season 2. Thanks for watching.